Thank you, Rajan. President, Secretary, fellow Rotarians. First, greetings from my club, Rotary Club of Gandhi. Second, let me apologize right in the beginning if I fall much short of your expectations, the kind of build-up that's been given to me. I saw what Shekhar had sent, and as a matter of fact, I did mention to him also, I hope I don't let your members down. Well, I won't tell you what he told me, but the fact remains that I'm not going to give you any great gyan, or I'm not going to give you Madras 375 years, this, that and the other. What I said to Seshadri, who was instrumental in inviting me over here, was I can speak about my experience in advertising 37 years back, which is about practically one-tenth of Madras's age. So it's not too bad. Perhaps I should be able to bring out some differences that existed in the scene, in advertising scene in Madras then, and what I had heard, read about the advertising scene in places like Bombay or Delhi to some extent, and later perhaps Bangalore. I have jotted down some points, so if you pardon me, I'll use this once in a while. Now, for you to really appreciate the kind of trauma and torture I went through in the first few months, I have to share with you the background as to why I came to Chennai at that point in time, or what was Madras at that point in time. In my institute, the placement rules said that up to 2 offers you can reject. But beyond that, if you reject, you have to find a job on your own. Now, there was no way I could find a job on my own. So I decided one of the first 2 offers I'll definitely take. The first offer I got was from Planning Commission, Delhi. But I had some personal commitments which required that I should be in Chennai. I had lost my mother the previous year, and my father was retiring, and so he would be alone, and all kinds of things. So I had to reject that Planning Commission offer. The next offer which I got was, I don't know how many of you would have heard of that company called Jagatjeet Industries. They used to have a liquor division. I don't know how many of you are aware of it.
Bangalore.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And the job that I got was not a marketing job, which is what all of us wanted, but it was a sales job, and it was in the liquor division. It was southern region, and I was to be headquartered in Madras. So suited fine. So a lot of congratulatory messages coming in. Hey, now you're made. All you have to do is tell your company that you're very loyal to their products, and you keep testing their products every now and then. And please remember to call us also when you're doing it. Kind of a thing went on for quite some time. Unfortunately, the year was 1977. Now, 1977 March was when the Congress collapsed and Janata Party came into power. Expecting prohibition to be imposed on all India level, by and large, every liquor company put a freeze on their appointments. So March 24th, I think, was when Morarji Desai took over as the president, and March 25th is when we got a telex message. In those days, no phones and all like this. A telex message which said, regret, freeze on all appointments in liquor division. Please communicate to the students that their appointments stand withdrawn till intimated later. So that went fat. Now there was a problem. I had to take the next offer, whatever it be, otherwise I'll be out of placement. In between, I think it was on March 23rd or something, Mr. R.K. Swamy had come to Calcutta. First time he had decided he'll recruit a management school student. He came, interviewed quite a lot of us. I was told that he asked very tough questions to very many people, of which he himself didn't know the answers, which is what they told me. But to me, all he asked was, Ayyara Engara. Vadagaliya, Tengaliya, Yenda Ure. And at the end of it, he said, when can you join? Now, but at that time, I had the liquor division in my hand. I said, sir, it's like this, I would like to consult with my parents before I confirm. That he liked. He said, good, that you should do. So I quietly came back, I said, thank God I have that order in hand. But then, now, I had no choice. So I went back quietly to the placement office and said, I think I'll join the Swamis. And believe it or not, I joined RK Swamis on 14th April 1977. And that was the first disappointment which I had. Everyone assumes that 14th April, the Tamil New Year, will be a holiday. But RK Swami did not believe in it. So, வருஷத்து முதல் நாள் நீ வேலை பண்ணணும், வருஷத்து முதல் நாள் நீ போய் வீட்டில் உட்காந்து தூங்கியிருந்தனா மொத்த வருஷம் நீ அந்த மாதிரி தான் பண்ணுவ. So first of the month we should. So that was the starting disappointment. I went in, there was this lady in the reception. What little we all had heard of advertising, glamour, models floating around, this, that and the other. Here was one very dour-faced, oldish woman, just looked at me and said, nah, kind of a thing. The problem was, all I had with me was a telex which had come from RK Swami. Now, there was no signature on it. So she said, who has sent you this letter? I said, Mr. RK Swami. He said, no, Mr. RK, he couldn't have sent you. This must be somebody else. So you first tell me who you want to see. I said, Mr. RK Swami. Mr. RK Swami will not come like that. He will come only later. And you can't see him. So I just waited over there. Fortunately for me, Mr. RK Swami himself walked in at that point in time. Now, those of you who have seen Mr. RK Swami, even when you stand, especially a person like me who's as short as me, has to look at him like this. So just imagine when I was sitting on that low sofa, I literally had my face up like that to see him. And he looked at me through his specs and he said, I met you in Calcutta? I said, yes, sir. Okay, come. So he took me in. Then I realized, okay, here is a chance I shouldn't let go. The big boss himself has recognized me and he's pulling me in. So I had that euphoria for almost 3-4 hours. Then it hit. In companies like RK Swami's, at least in those days, the management trainee was a little better than a daily wage labourer. Little better. Marginally, okay? And all the people there will try to make his life miserable because they know that after 6 months, once his training is complete, this guy is going to pass over them. So, adukku munnadi evlo mudiyumo, let's rag him. And that was to the forte. Full. I had it. In RK Swami's, I don't know whether they have it now. One thing I'm grateful to them for it is they have a very sort of a very strict regime for training, where you have to go through every department. It will be 1 week in some, 2 weeks in some, 1 month in some. 1 week you have to be in the dispatch department, where you take a cycle and go deliver. And that, we were told, is because later nobody can take you for a ride. Because you've gone there yourself. You know it takes only 10 minutes. Makes sense. I mean, now it makes sense. Then, of course, I was rebelling. I was told all along, at IIT, you are cream of the country. When you go to IIM, there you are told you are cream of the country. And here you come and you're going on a cycle delivering packages all over the place. Anyway, that went on for some more time. But what really didn't hurt me, but what really disappointed me at that point in time was some of my friends, actually two of them, two of my colleagues from Calcutta, had joined Coal India. Now, Coal India was a pretty big company in those days, and their office was right next to RK Swami's. RK Swami was in Film Chamber, and this one was in the next one, just behind Indian Bank. So these two guys, they turned up one day, and They came in and they saw the place and he said, "Hey, ye kya hai? Where's the orgy? Where's the orgy?" I said, "What orgy?" No, we thought, we'll find half-clad models around the place, and, guys with all kinds of funny hairstyle and, wearing t-shirts with only one arm and, pants torn into half all over the place. But here everyone seems absolutely normal. It almost looks like our Coal India office. So I had to explain to them, "Bahar se aise hi dikhta hai. You come in, only then you will know." So this, and why I'm mentioning this to you is, I was often told that Bombay things are different, but not in Madras. But honestly speaking, I had the occasion to go to Bombay in those days itself. Things were not all that different as it was here, except that we, being the good old, South Indians, had this tendency to push ourselves down, and therefore we also thought badly of ourselves, we thought poorly of ourselves. That's about the difference. Now coming on to this training, one thing which I learned was that everything takes time. Today, if I have to make a presentation, I can work till about a minute before the presentation on the PowerPoint, finish it, give it. In those days, we used to have slides. And some of the, like Rajan will know, I'm sure, and some of the others will also know. And those slides took some time to make. There was a process. There was something had to be done in the dark room, then somebody would have to sit and mount it, and mounting itself was a skill, all kinds of things. So the preparatory time required for any activity was phenomenal. And that's one big difference which I see today in the advertising scene. Today, a writer can work on the headline till about, let's say, 8 p.m. when the ad is to be released the next day. Then you have to make sure you finish it in the morning, because after that the whole process starts. There's block and there mats and all kinds of things. So that, what it gave me, the training, was this clear understanding of how much time things take. Now I'll come to some interesting experiences which I had over there. Artists, by and large, in an advertising agency were a very powerful set of people. One, most of them are union members, so they sort of observe the time and so on and so forth. And second, more importantly, their skills were unmatched, so you couldn't afford to take any panga with any of them. Like the retouching artist was the only one who could do the retouching, nobody else could. And if something happens, and there was no Control Z in those days, where you do something, you don't like it, you put Control Z and start over again. You cannot. You have to do the thing all over again right from the beginning. So because of that, and which the artist knew, they used to hold the rest of the agency to ransom. So there was one person, I still remember, they used to call him Pakoda Natarajan. Now, at 6 p.m., one bearer will come around asking, "What do you want, what do you want, what do you want?" Because there's a system there that after 6, if you stay, you get some snacks to eat. Now, this guy invariably would ask for apple pakoda. On the day when apple pakoda was not there, he'll walk out of the office. And he was allowed to, incidentally. And R.K. Swami will tell the bearer, kind of a thing. I don't think it exists today in any agency. I mean, I don't think it exists in my agency, and in the agencies I've seen, I don't think it exists. One big thing with those art directors was they knew exactly how much space a text will take if it was in a particular font, and if the column width was so much. Today, nobody knows. They do it, they reduce the column, they check again, they do it again, they do it again. In those days, they had to calculate and do, because that again was a process. Now, my own very clear learnings was how, it's not cheating really, but how to manage situations. Like in those days, smoking was quite common. I used to be a smoker myself, and we used to sit on our place and smoke. So there was this gentleman who was an artist, but then he became a little troublesome, so R.K. Swami made him a management, transferred him to management so that he doesn't create trouble. Now, this guy, people used to go to him bumming for cigarette. The fashion then was, I'm going to give up smoking. Give up smoking meant, I will give up buying cigarettes. That's all it meant. I'll continue to smoke, but I'll borrow from somebody else. I'll go pinch from somebody else. So this gentleman had a beautiful system. Now he'll take a cigarette from the pack, Charminar used to smoke, close the pack, put it in the waste paper basket. Anybody comes in, ஐயோ கடைசி இப்பதான் குடிச்சேன், இப்பதான் கீழே போட்டேன், ஒரு 10 நிமிஷம் முன்னாடி வந்திருக்க மாட்டியா? After everyone goes, he picks up the pack, there are still cigarettes in it. Okay, so that was the storage. Put it in the waste paper basket. The same gentleman was a great astrology specialist. He would predict as to when somebody would leave the agency, meaning retire, resign, whatever in the agency. Later we found out that in every week in his diary, he had about 4 or 5 diaries, he had different names written down. So if my name, for example, Jagannath will appear in all the weeks. So whichever week you see, come here. Enni எழுதினே தெரியுமா பாரு, அவன் பேர் எழுதிருக்கேன் பாரு இங்க, that he will resign on so and so date. This again was the same gentleman. I learnt a lot from him. I'm giving you people from whom I learnt. I was attached to one supervisor first. This supervisor believed in total delegation. He won't even turn up. Half the time, sometime in the morning, 9 o'clock, the reception will call me that there is a call for you. You go there, you take the call. This is my supervisor, North Indian, who would call up to say, hey, I'm not feeling too well, you take care of things. That's all. He'll put the phone down. So we come, we do all the work, struggle. It makes you happy at the end of it that you've done something, but you're really worried that you've created great blunder. As luck would have it, R.K. Swami found out that I was doing the work and he was not, so he was generally shown the door. The next supervisor I was attached to was totally different. Anything you do every 2 minutes, he'll come and ask you, idu mudichtiya. You would have just come out of his room and by then you'd start on that. But what I did learn from him was those technical words like EB, which I think very few people would know here, capitalized billing or equivalent billing and stuff like that, which is a very terminology very specific to advertising. I also learned that commission is what we used to survive on. And I also learned that if you have to earn money, you have to save money in terms of what the cost which goes into creating a piece of work. And all of us as account managers were responsible for a certain amount of earning, certain percentage of earning. So once in my slip, they used to give a slip at the end of each job, I found motor repair. So I went back to the studio chap and asked him, what is this motor repair? But this is Mr. R.K. Swami's home, no? All the expenses come here only. So that was the second learning which I got, that if you are heading a company, you can sort of live without spending anything. It's quite possible. Nothing wrong in it, but then when they try to hide it from you, you feel bad. Same thing in Bombay is done in a different manner, where for every job there is an allocated, I was told, there is an allocated expenditure on which you will have no control. So that could be anything. It could be a bottle of scotch being bought for some guest and so on and so forth. Now all this was going on, I was learning. Then once I had this chance of briefing. I was assigned an account. Which was Detergents India, which used to be a company over here. Czech was a detergent they used to make. And the scheme that they had was you buy 2 cakes of Czech and you get a mug free. So I went and briefed the copywriter, and a very pretty looking young thing she was at that time. And she told me I need a lot of information. I need competitor information, I need the competitor pricing, I need the company's history, I need the company's future plan. And then she gave me one huge list. I said, here is a chance to show that I've done marketing. So I did all that, went back to her with an 8-page note. She came back later, 4 days later, with a beautiful headline which said, buy 2 cakes of Czech and get 1 mug free. And she also said, the rest of it, the body copy, you take from another ad, which is a pull-out of the earlier year. And that ad was, buy 2 cakes of Czech and get a soap dish free. She said, just don't change the headline. The bottom portion is all common. You just take it and get the layout done. In Bombay, I was told that people make a huge hoo-ha about it in terms of the creative process that goes on. In Madras, we didn't have any such pretension. You are saying 2 soaps, 1 mug free. Say that, that's all. But it was to make me work that she did it, which I felt bad about. So what I'm sharing with you is the places where I felt really bad and the places where I felt really thrilled. Just 2 more points, then I'll break for you to start. In these days, in my office or even in my earlier employment, whenever we had some occasion to treat somebody, it'll be either to a pub or a bar, it'll be something like that. In those days, at least in RK Swami's, it was either my boss, my supervisor, who was a good Iyer, so it'll be either good Iyer sapadu in his house, or if it's something very big, then it'll be good Iyengar sapadu in RK Swami's house. That's about it. And RK Swami would not serve non-veg in his house, and it's rumored that that's the reason why he didn't get promoted to head JWT. Not because he didn't serve non-veg, but because he served white wine with sambar, while they would have accepted red wine with sambar. And he served red wine with thai sadam, perhaps they would have accepted white wine with thai sadam. Anyway, that is R.K. Swami's. And R.K. Swami had this habit of calling everyone Da. Little younger than him, it will be Da, Vada, Poda kind of a thing. In the beginning, I was feeling a little odd because I've never been called that in my life. But later I got used to it. But where I got thrilled was, we had a meeting with Mr. T.T. Jagannathan, where he said the same thing to him. Apdi illada to T.T. Jagannathan. T.T. Jagannathan turned back, apdi danda, he said. And T.T. Jagannathan was at least 20 years younger than Mr. R.K. Swami. After that, Mr. R.K. Swami was a little careful in addressing people. Finally, one last bit from what I learned from public sector, R.K. Swami, for those of you who are not aware, used to be called a public sector advertising agency. Almost all public sectors they would handle at some point or the other. And in public sector, the expenditure on advertising is not related to sales, because sales for them is fixed. Advertising, you do or don't do, the sale will happen. And advertising, if you have to spend money, the PR department has to do some work. Now, how do you spend money without doing work? Repeat last year's ad. Nothing wrong. So that's what they will do every time. You go with a full campaign, present and all that. They'll say, no, all that is fine, but you'll repeat last year. Because the PR guy doesn't have to do any work whatsoever. And their negotiation skills were phenomenal. They will tell you how to cut and they will tell you how to increase. But in the process of increasing, you have to make sure certain favors are returned to him. Favors would be like he wants a car to go somewhere, that kind of to go somewhere, stuff like that. Now, when I met some colleagues from Bombay, they said, "Nahi, aisa kuch nahi hota hai, no? You're all very this and that and the other." But when you meet the same PR guys, they tell you that their counterparts in those places are no less or no more than these guys. It's a fact, I know. One last bit about media reps of those days and today. Media reps of those days were nice old people, gentlemen of the first order, who only would come and say, "Parpa, antoda target mudila, or an ad kudthuru, na pointe irke." Not like today's kids who come with a whole lot of figures and say, "How we deliver more this, more that," and all that. Those guys were simple. They knew that if you set mind to it, you could help them out. And they would ask you, very shamelessly they'll ask you, but they will ask you in such a manner that you cannot refuse. In my own experience, I think I have helped quite a lot of them. And if I get a chance, I'll continue to help them because the way they ask was different. Today, you have young bright guys coming to you and demanding that their medium or a vehicle be considered. In those days, "Ni avanakum kudu, enakkum kudu" was the only thing that he used to say. And we all were sort of going along with it. The designations in advertising agency is again something peculiar. Supervisor is above an executive. So when my father met an old colleague of his who asked him, "Okay, what is your son doing?" So my father told him, "My son is he's a supervisor with HTA." So that man looked a little and said, "Oh, is he supervisor?" "Why, what happened?" "MBA la kuda panna." "My son, he's just 6 months old. He's already an executive." And that was in some agency again. So my father used to tell me, designation. So that is again something very peculiar to an advertising agency. Well, I think I've completed my time. I have, if you believe it or not, I have quite a lot, but I don't think I'll bore you with that. One last bit was, one good thing which happened to me in RK Swami's, I was there with them for 3.5 years. One good thing which really happened was that I met my wife over there and we got married when I was in RK's Farmers. So with this I'll stop. Thank you. If you have any questions you want to ask or any comments, I'll be happy to answer.